Welcome to this tutorial on Invoke-Sqlcmd, a powerful PowerShell CMDlet for running SQL queries. In this video, you'll learn how to execute SQL commands directly from PowerShell, making database management and automation much easier. This is part of our PowerShell database series, where we explore tools that connect PowerShell with database operations. Invoke-Sqlcmd is a PowerShell CMDlet that executes SQL queries and scripts against SQL Server databases. It provides direct database access, allowing you to transact SQL commands from your PowerShell environment. The CMDlet returns query results as PowerShell objects, which you can then manipulate or export. It's particularly useful for automating database tasks like backups, data exports, report generation, and administrative operations. Before using Invoke-Sqlcmd, you need to install the SQL Server module. Run the command install-module-name SqlServer-scope current user. This installs the module for your user account. After installation, import the module using import-module SQL Server. Note that the SQL Server module is the modern replacement for the older SQLPS module, so make sure you're using SQL Server for the best experience and latest features. The basic syntax for Invoke-Sqlcmd requires three core parameters. First, server instance specifies the target SQL server, like localhost or a remote server name. Second, database selects which database to run queries against. Third, query contains your SQL statement as a string. Alternatively, you can use input file instead of query to execute SQL commands from a file. This is helpful when you have complex scripts saved as .SQL files. Let's review the most common parameters you'll use with Invoke-Sqlcmd. Server instance specifies your target SQL Server host. Database selects which database to use. Query lets you pass inline transact SQL commands. Input file runs SQL from an external file. And if your SQL Server requires authentication, you can use username and password parameters to provide credentials. By default, Invoke-Sqlcmd uses Windows authentication if credentials aren't specified. Here's a practical example. We're storing the results in a variable called $results. We connect to localhost, use the AdventureWorks database, and run a select query to retrieve the top 10 products from the production.product table. The CMDlet returns the data as PowerShell objects. Finally, we pipe the results to format-table to display them in a readable table format. This demonstrates how seamlessly SQL data integrates with PowerShell. You can make queries dynamic by using PowerShell variables. In this example, we define a variable called $productName with the value mountain bike. We then build a query using a here string, which allows multi-line text. Inside the SQL query, we embed the PowerShell variable using $productName to filter products with names containing that text. This technique is powerful for creating reusable scripts where query criteria change based on user input or other conditions. Let's recap what you've learned. First, install the SQL Server module to access Invoke-Sqlcmd. Second, use the query parameter for inline SQL statements or input file for script files. Third, remember that results return as PowerShell objects, making them easy to manipulate, filter, or export. Finally, Invoke-Sqlcmd is perfect for automation and database management tasks, allowing you to integrate SQL operations into your PowerShell workflows. Thanks for learning, and happy scripting!
If you like this video, hit that like button and don't forget to subscribe. Visit codelucky.com for more such useful content.